Well, hi everyone, and greetings from Northern Michigan. This is Bob the Science Guy. How's everybody hearing me? Sorry about the slightly late start. Otis decided to dump my entire desktop here, and I had to get everything back together and organized and everything, so it just took a couple of minutes.
Get started on a straighter smile today for free at SmileDirectClub.com. Smile Direct Club.
Turn that off. Hey everyone, can you all hear me okay? Go ahead and post something in chat if you can. You should be able to hear me. Everything seems to be working fine. Audio's good. Excellent. That's what I was kind of waiting for. What we're going to do today is we're actually going to build this thing right here. All right. This is an armillary sphere. And hopefully we're going to have a good focus on it and everything. But I did a little bit of the preliminary work yesterday because, gluing these things together, to be honest with you, doesn't seem to me to be all that exciting. The idea of assembling them together is the exciting part. So an armillary sphere is this device right here. And what it does is basically it's a graphical astrolabe. And it gives you a very good visual feel for what's going on in the ecliptic orbit of the sun, the moon, the planets. It kind of gives you an idea of how the sun will move during the day. And it's kind of an interesting little item. It was originally developed about 200 BC. It actually predates the astrolabe. And at its heart is this right here, a spherical Earth. Now, the interesting thing about it is not only does that demonstrate that the ancients knew that the Earth was a sphere, but it kind of gives you an idea of the function of an armillary sphere, and that is it is based on a ptolemaic solar system with the Earth in the center, a geocentric solar system. The Earth's still a sphere, but it's at the center of all the revolving planets and sun. Now, that's not exactly the most accurate way of looking at it, but for something like this, quite frankly, it's good enough. And it'll give you a very good visual idea of what's going on. So let's get started. Now, I'm at the point right now that I've finished all of this stuff here, and I'm getting ready to assemble the inner workings of the armillary sphere. Before I get started, let me go ahead and let me just check the chat here. So you guys can hear me. Okay. So that's good. So the next thing that we have to do to get this thing put together is we got to kind of match up these pieces. Now at first, when I saw these pieces, I thought that they were badly made because I happened to notice that these notches are not set up straight. They don't align with each other, and I thought maybe it was just a bad laser cut. But then I realized that no, it has to do with the function of the sphere. So let's get these paired up. And then these two here go together. And the reason that they're offset is, if you may notice, that one right there, here's the north-south axis. But notice that that's set at an angle, and that's where the ecliptic of the sun is going to be going. So it'll be going in like this. So you see it's at an angle like so. I'm holding it roughly north-south upward, but you see it's at an angle. And as a result of that, these pieces here have to account for that angle, and that's why they're offset a little bit. It's not a design error. But this looks like it's kind of complicated to try and get together, so let's go see if we can do it. These are the locking pieces, I believe, for the head. So let's check out the directions. Who says men don't look at directions? Okay, so we've got those together. The next thing that we want to do is we want to get, these are the Arctic and the Antarctic circle rings. So what we need to do is we need to find north on this thing. And then we're going to put it together. Okay, so this is plus 80 and this is minus 80 down here, so they got to be on that end. So we're going to need the Arctic circle, and that's going to go up here, like so. Now, I've yet to see how they're going to get everything all fitted in this thing properly. But let's go see what the attachment looks like up on top. So it's piece number 10. It's these guys right here. So we need one of those. We need one of these. These little cross-shaped pieces. So the way this is going to go is that's going to get glued right here. We'll kind of dry fit it to begin with. Come on, get on there. All right. Then we've got another one on the bottom. I'm going to put it in like that. Doesn't want to come on very well, does it? Come on, get on in there. Okay. So those are coming on like so. And then we've got another one on top that goes up there. Where'd it go? Ah, there it is. Boy, that just wants to sit down and play games, doesn't it? All right, that seems to be on. You guys see this okay? So the southern pole will go down here. And the northern pole will go in here, like so. Then underneath it, we've got a couple of more pieces, and that's these right here. Kind of thinking that's going to have to be glued first. So I guess we're going to go ahead and do that. going to go ahead and get rid of my image here so you can just see what I'm doing. I don't think you really need to see me in there. So we're going to put a little glue on this. This kit is really nice because it comes with all the things that you need. You know, I got a couple of scalpels just for trimming and things like that, but it contained all the glue that you needed and everything else. So that's going to go there. That one is going to go there. Did you guys get a chance to see my my twilight video today? It was actually one that I was quite proud of. I thought it came out very nicely. Kind of hit it from a new approach that I hadn't seen used before. That's bad when you see little wood shavings. It's never a good sign. Okay, so we'll let that tack up for a minute. Now, next step. Looks like this piece may go here. And then this piece kind of goes over it a bit, like so. Let's bring this around a little bit so you can see that a little bit better. Everything in decent focus here, guys? All right. Okay, so those get glued together. Those get glued together. All right, that looks pretty good. So let's go see what this looks like here. All right. Just kind of a touch of glue on that. I think the important thing is that these have got to line up here properly. That looks pretty good. I'm going to let that sit there for just a second so that it has a chance to set up some. Kind of set that over there for a minute. Now, not everything here is supposed to be glued, so you got to kind of watch out for that. That's actually this one. All right, I'm pretty pleased with that. Kind of set that off to the side for a minute. Now, while we're letting that dry for a minute, let's go ahead and assemble this right here. What these two circles are is this is the ecliptic circle of the sun, and this is the ecliptic circle of the moon. And they're going to be offset about 5 degrees. And we do that with the use of these little clips. Now it says that glue is optional on this one. So if these clips fit nice and snug, I think I'm going to take the option and not glue it. That'll just give me a little leeway in case I need it in the future. All right, so let's go see exactly how they got these clips together. There's two styles of clips here. One has got a little offset and the other doesn't. But one thing that it doesn't talk about here is it doesn't really give you any clue as to how to put these on or where to place them. So what we're going to do this guy right here, I think, ought to be like so. Well, here's your problem. I think this is designed for ages 10 and up, so that may be a bit of an issue with me. Let's go see this real quick. There's something mechanically wrong with this. Okay, so those go like that. Okay, there's your problem. This side's supposed to go on that. So you put the small clip on this one. And then you put that clip in there. And the small clip should go on this one. That doesn't make too much sense though, because then these are just this has got to be in an angle, so one of these has to be the other way around. What are those? Ah, so that's got to go on that one, right? So, let's see if this works. I'm thinking we're looking a little better here. There. Now we have an ecliptic. See? Now the orbit of the moon is offset from the orbit of the Earth by about 5 degrees, and that doesn't look too bad. Now here, we're going to slide these in at the nodes to kind of brace it a bit. What appears to be the way that's supposed to go. I would assume that these ought to be at about 90-degree angles to each other. Unfortunately, we've got a scale on this end that we can tell. So, what we will do is we will put this one okay, so that one's at the autumnal equinox. And this one we'll put over at the spring equinox. This one will be at the winter equinox. Well, that one there's not looking good. Let's bring this over here to summer. Kind of tease them around a little bit to get them working right. Get them straight. There. Now where this will set is right in here. Like so. See? Kind of something like that. Now is that kind of tacked down a little bit? Let's see if we can put a little tape on that. So let's go see what else we have here. Temptations cat treat money for the kiddies. Thank you very much, 2HD Cat. Got Stingray out there. Let's go see where we are. Okay, audio's good, audio's good. Hey, Joe. Got Judy, got Joe, got 2HD Cat, Aaron Massa. Fascinating build. I'm just not that good with glue. You and me both. Does this take into account retrograde motion? I don't know yet. Yes, the arc is consisting of two different pieces. All of these are single piece, but all of these, as you can see, are made up of two separate pieces. And rather than do an angle cut, they just did a step cut. You're correct. Tool time with Bob the Builder. You say I'm a little bit out of focus here? Let's go ahead and see if I can fix that. I'm going to come up here and try and double check the focus on this thing. So what we'll do, I'm going to see if I can focus on this. Now that should lock the focus, and we'll see whether or not that helps. But I do see a potential problem right here, and that is that we've got to get this thing in. And I think before I try and attempt that, I should probably get this glue to dry a bit more. Because it just strikes me as being a potential disaster. You know, if a little glue is good, maybe a little bit more would be better. I'm just going to put a little spot right here at the junction of the Antarctic Circle. One, this glue dries clear. And two, I have a scalpel and I can trim it off gently if I need to. But we'll make sure that there's good glue in that joint. Now this side right here, probably have a nice little brace right there. Is the focus a little better, folks? I hope it is. That's looking good there. This would be the Arctic Circle that we're going to put on here. I do want to be careful to line those up. Yeah, I'm good with that. All right, trivia question for everybody. Everybody know the old 1960s sitcom Hogan's Heroes? On the intro for that, who played the drums? Go ahead and stick your responses out there in the chat. I found this out the other day and it just absolutely shocked me. I just wasn't expecting it. We're going to let that dry for a couple minutes. Let's see if anybody's got the answer yet. I know nothing. Who played that on the snare drum? I'll give you a hint. He had a drum set in his dressing room and used to play it between takes to relax. Well, we're letting that glue dry, which is, the high point of my life here. Let's go ahead and see whether or not I can figure out where we're going to go next. Well, I don't have any takers yet, so I'm going to have to give you the answer. It was Bob Crane, Hogan. He did the drum solo, or he did the drum part of the intro. He had been playing the drums since he was about 8 years old and did it professionally for a while before he got into acting. So we're going to let that dry for a couple minutes. Now, while we're at it, let's just go ahead and see what we have here. And I've got this wrong. You would think I would have known this. The ecliptic needs to be highest in the summer. So I got to shift all this around a bit. And of course, it's going to be most southern in the winter. Okay, that's good. That's what happens when you just go ahead and put it on and figure it out in a minute, And then we got a few more minutes before that glue dries anyhow, so we'll just play with it a bit. Actually, this one doesn't make any difference. It's the other one that's got to be done. Yeah, well, screw all that. So I'm gonna stick one there. I managed to screw that up. Didn't break anything though, so that was good. You know, it just occurred to me, I'm a doctor. I got tools that are smaller than my fingers. Hemostats. That'll make it a little bit easier. Well, like blood vessels, you just got to be a little careful about how tight you squeeze them. Don't want to leave any unnecessary marks. Now, I think that's not going to work that way. I think I've got to put these angled pieces on first. All right, so there's the two little ones, there's the big one. All right. This. like the way I had it to begin with. Okay, now we're cooking. Close enough for engineering. It's starting to do. I feel pretty good. No, it didn't work out so well, did it? Let's try and get that back on again. And no, I wasn't using the sharp end of the scalpel for that. Now this is the one you have to line up right. And I do believe this one here needs to be glued. Indeed it does. So, since this is the south, okay, so since this is the south, this is the high point of the ecliptic, so that should be summer. So we've got to line that up with the summer, which should be that way. And that's the way that's got to go in. And since that's a permanent mount, we can glue it. kind of put a drop on the edge of it there. Good. And good. That just doesn't have a real good tight snap to it, you know? Now this is going to go like so. After we put the earth in here. But I don't feel very comfortable manipulating this much more until this glue dries. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to adjourn for a couple hours here. Maybe finish this up tomorrow, because I got to make sure that that glue's nice and dry in there before I start putting any pressure on it, or else it's just all going to come apart with a gooey mess, and quite frankly, I'm not interested in that. Just not going to do it. I want to make sure everything's nice and lined up here. Everything's kind of square. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this one here off. Yeah, you see that's still very, see, that just comes right off, even with just the pressure of the painter's tape. So this has got to dry. Let me get this last piece put in here. And then I'm just going to put the, I'm going to put the axis through it, just to make sure everything dries when it's lined up. See, none of this stuff is holding well enough to be able to do too much with it. See, it's all just coming apart. Yeah, it's just unacceptable. It's becoming kind of a gluey mess. See if we can get it lined up again. Then we're just going to let it sit. Okay, that's what I needed there. See if I can kind of tape it in here so that it holds. Okay, everything's lined up. Now I got to go find a place to put that where the cats won't get it. And we're going to get it out of Otis's way as, let's see, who was that? Chris? No. Lone Tech. Yeah, leave it so Otis can play with it while the glue is going. I think this is going to get hidden on top of the, or in the microwave. How's that sound? We're going to put it, hey, if I put the microwave on, the glue will dry faster. Don't try that at home, kids. All right, so I think that's going to be about it for right now. This is turning out to be a multi-day build simply because we've got to wait for the glue to dry. So I'm going to go ahead and sign out now. Thank you very much. No, Otis is not helping. Otis tried to help and he dumped everything on the floor. So in any event, well, here's our stage right now. That's what we're at. And as you can see, we've got, let's see, this is the northern Arctic Circle, the Arctic Circle. This is the ecliptic of the sun. This is the ecliptic of the moon. Here is the Antarctic Circle. And that is the prime meridian. So we've got a few more things to do with this, but right now what we've got to do is let it dry. So thank you all very much for stopping by. I'm going to let you all go now. Remember, Otis likes super chats because then he gets treats. So I'll see you guys a little bit later then.